and remarked words to describe her. Get the full details in tomorrow's Kaieteur News. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has issued another appeal this week for governments, particularly in the world's biggest carbon polluters such as China, India, Russia, and the USA, to triple their speed in shifting from fossil fuels to renewable energy. His call this time comes around on the heels of the third Intergovernment Panel on Climate Change report, which provides an update, global assessments on climate change mitigation progress and pledges. It also examines the source of global emission and explains development in emission reduction and mitigation efforts. Additionally, it assesses the impact of national climate pledges in relation to long-term emission goals. Following his perusal of the document, Guterres said, "This report is a litany of broken climate promises. It is a file of shame and empty pledges that put us firmly on track towards an unbelievable world." The United Nations General Assembly on Thursday suspended Russia from the UN Human Rights Council over reports of gross and systematic violations and abuse of human rights by invading Russian troops in Ukraine. That should be Ukraine, and the government of Ghana, along with several other Caribbean countries, abstained from the vote. The final vote was 93 in favor, 24 against, and 58 absentees. Owning Guyana for the Caribbean countries were Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Suriname, and Belize. Back in February, the government of Ghana had condemned Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and according to Reuters, suspensions are rare. Libya was suspended in 2011 because of violence against protesters by forces loyal to then leader. And economies in Latin America and the Caribbean are on track to recover from the COVID-19 crisis, but the scars of the pandemic remain the need for a more dynamic, inclusive, and sustainable growth in even more urgent, according to a new World Bank report, consolidating the recovery, seizing green growth opportunities. Following a 6.9% rebound in 2021, regional GDP is expected to grow 2.3% this year and a further 2.2% in 2023, with most countries reversing the GDP losses from the pandemic crisis. However, these modest projections place regional performances amongst the lowest in the world at a time when the region faces important uncertainties and new variants of virus may appear, inflation pressure mount, and war in Europe threatens the world recovery. In fact, regional growth projection has been revised downward by 0.4% after the Russian invasion on Ukraine. On a Wednesday, staff members and directors of the Linden Utility Service Co-op Society Limited participated in a sit-out following the decision by Minister of Labour to dissolve the board and to install interim management committee to run affairs of the cooperative. In a response to the board, Chief Corporate Development Officer Debbie Prasad informed the directors that the results of their incompetence and IMC will manage the affairs of the society. In a subsequent press release, the Ministry of Labour stated that one of the reasons for the decision was because of the need for accountability and transparency. It noted too that no AGM was held for the COP since 2014, despite this must be held annually. The ministry also raised the issue of conflict of interest, lack of audits, and no payments of dividends to members. And after 2 years of the COVID-19 pandemic, with millions of lives lost to the virus, the Pan American Health Organization Director Cassie F. Etienne marked World Health Day by calling on the urgent protection of the environment and highlighted how the health of the planet is linked on its own. Health ministers from the region participated in a virtual PAHU event to mark the day, as Dr. Jacqueline Alvarez, Director for the Latin America and the Caribbean of the United Nations Environmental Program, focusing on the Americas as one of the most unequal regions in the world, where wealth inequality, political inequality, and social inequality are rampant. Dr. Etienne highlighted that the extra transformative efforts must be taken to protect health of the most vulnerable populations from environmental risk. This is your evening newscast, and you're listening to us right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Leader of the People's National Congress Reform, Aubrey Norton, said he supports any Guyanese who choose to challenge injustices when they occur. Norton believes that, in fact, the right of every citizen is to act if they believe that the laws of the land and rights of the people are being trampled upon. These comments came when Norton weighed in on the ongoing court case brought on by the private citizens against oil operations here. There are currently 4 oil sector-related cases before the court, one of which was recently filed by Norton's APNU plus AFC opposition coalition. And Norton explained that as a citizen of Guyana and with an intent to develop in the development of the country, every citizen has the right to bring on any legal challenge to seek to address irregularities. He said in reference to cases that citizens move to the court is essentially them standing up for themselves when their elected leaders fail to do so. The opposition head opined that where the oil and gas is concerned, every citizen should have a vested interest to ensure that all Guyanese benefit from their national patrimony. And that's a wrap of your evening newscast. For these stories and much more, pick up a copy of the Kaieteur News Friday edition at the newsstand near you tomorrow for just $80 Guyana. Or follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Kaieteur Radio. Feel free to head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com.
And that's the news of the moment. Remember to get the full details of these stories, pick up a copy of the Kaieteur News. And don't forget, you can catch us on the MyTuner app as well as the Radio Garden app. You can also keep up to date by liking our Facebook page at Kaieteur Radio and subscribing to our YouTube channel, Kaieteur Radio Livestream. Oh, also catch our stream at www.kaieteurnewsonline.com/radio. Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
GHK Lal on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. It's Thursday, April 7th. Welcome to the National Outlook. I trust that the week is going well for you and that we could position ourselves to close it out. Minister Bharat mum on US $9 billion per Payara audit, 1 month later. This is from last Thursday's Kaieteur News, March 31st. And there is a trail, my fellow Guyanese, there is a trail from Kaieteur News, the experience of Kaieteur News, a particular reporter in his communication with the Honorable Minister of Natural Resources, Mr. Vikram Bharat. It goes like this. It started on February 25th of this year. And there was a call, there's a cell phone call, and the minister was in a meeting, and he asked the reporter, the Kaieteur reporter, to call back. At 2:30 that day, phase 2, all calls went unanswered. The third development was that a WhatsApp message was sent, and where is that I contacted you early in relation to an update on the auditing of the $9 billion US Payara project. Is an update available? And minister responded he's working on it. Then on February 28th, yes, almost a half a week later, there was a fourth interaction, I should say. And what happened here now? At